What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus, and I'm here with my boy Yoru Strix, aka man of many names and aliases. Say what's up to the people.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's good to be here.
All right, so what we're doing is we're just having the small, one-on-one round table discussion about the PlayStation Experience keynote, which just happened. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are, kind of upset, we should say. Some of us aren't so upset. We all have, our own opinion of it. So I'm just gonna go into mine first because I feel like mine is going to be the shorter of the two, and you'll probably see a video sometime before this or after this where I just give my overall impression. So I'm not going to be too long with it, but basically it was an okay show. I didn't think that it was their best showing. Most of my gripes were the usual gripes that I have with Sony press conferences. I always say that they have a really bad habit of hitting you hard at one point and then wrapping it down and slowing the pace and kind of dragging things out. And then all of a sudden it ramps back up again. This time I felt like it mostly dragged. I felt like the beginning they came out with, I guess, the quote unquote wow moments with the Uncharted and the Final Fantasy remake, which I was one of the people who was like, okay, that's cool, but I played Final Fantasy. I don't know how big this is. I didn't think it was when they said remake. I guess I didn't take them serious enough. They actually did remake this shit, which was crazy to me. But then you had a lot of good games, but I don't think they made the biggest impact on me because again, the pacing thing, the banter, some of that was but I saw a lot of good. I mean, hey. Like I was saying to Pride a while ago, I lost my shit when I saw Fat Princess because Fat Princess, that was my jam on PS3. But I mean, they showed good stuff. I just didn't think that they did a good job of presenting things. So that's my brief take on it. And like I said, you'll see a separate video where I'll go into more detail about this. But this is mostly about letting my boy Yoru Strix say his piece. Right now.
Right.
Go ahead.
All right, so I can agree with Black on the production side of things. The production could have been handled a little bit better. Beyond that, I am one of the few people apparently looking at Twitter and the internet that actually felt that this is a better direction for some of these conferences to go. We no longer are just action-packed kind of vertical slices of I guess you could say mostly shooters. We now have a more of a diverse kind of, we're going to show you games. Not all of them are going to be in your face, and a lot more of them are going to be necessarily creative or tech demos that are kind of showing the ideas of what can come. And I think from that standpoint, I loved it. If you were looking for the shooters, the explosions, the first parties, the stuff that we've basically gotten used to over the last generation of gaming, it wasn't as present. And I can't stress, in today's day and age, we're so much saying that they either milk a franchise or they don't show it enough. And when it comes to milking, they're not creative, they don't bring out anything new. But the moment we start seeing a lot of new different things that we haven't seen, i.e. this conference, all of a sudden it's but where is X? Where is Y? Where is this next game in a series? We want the sequel. We want the remaster. We don't want new. We don't really want that. We just want something familiar enough with a new shine of polish that we can latch onto.
Yeah, but not to cut you off, but just to say, this is something I've said over and over again. You don't necessarily want anything new. You want what you're used to, just with a little bit of refinement to it. I think is the key thing that and I think one of the biggest examples we've actually had this year with Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 is pretty much the same as every Call of Duty but with some refinement. I think a lot of people would say, it does things better than some of the previous Call of Duties that people screamed, bitched, and moaned about. And that's why you get a lot of people going back to the Call of Duty thing this year. But
And
sorry, continue.
With the and even on that Black, like you captured it even better, because if you think about it, the game before this is that epitome of something fairly new. It wasn't dramatic like a completely new Call of Duty game, but it changed the feel of Call of Duty, the pacing of Call of Duty. And people will automatically say Black Ops 3 is better than Advanced Warfare because it's, like you said, familiar. That piece was kind of just the intro, my overall thoughts about it. We can kind of talk about individual things, I guess. So like you said, they started off with Uncharted, which I wasn't surprised by that. Uncharted comes out early next year, so.
Yeah. And I think they were kind of capitalizing on the whole beta hype as well,
True.
because the beta now is out there in the wild. If you own a copy of Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection, you get access for the next weekend. Well, it would have been a week and a half if I count Thursday, but about a week now. You still have access to it.
Shout out to Gamer2323. You can go buy Redbox and just rent the game.
God damn it! You just outed what I was gonna say. God damn it! Because I actually, spoiler alert. Before I went to work this morning, a friend of mine's, shout out to SB for finding this out, and shout out to a Twitch streamer by the name of Triple Rec. His chat outed the whole thing where if you go to Redbox and you get a copy, and I'll explain this in more detail later, but get a copy of Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection from Redbox, and you can get the beta for Uncharted 4. So do that, people. Yes. Do that. If you really want to play it. Yeah, seriously.
I like you said, Uncharted is their big game right now. That's their first party, gonna be in your face. Buy it, get it, love it, and it did show off that you now have dialogue options within the game.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting that they had that. I was like, and I feel like that's the way that a lot of adventure games, not just RPG, but just adventure period, are going. They're trying to infuse some type of choice into the game as far as dialect is concerned. I don't know how much that's going to affect the game itself, but it's a nice little wrinkle. It gives you a chance to kind of guide the responses of your character. It would be better if it was something that made a lot more impact on the story. Like I feel like Mass Effect was one of the games that did that the best and still is, because I don't think anything else has necessarily come that close to Mass Effect, at least that I've played. I don't know, I know they have that in Fallout 4, but I've heard mixed reactions to that.
Well, like you're saying, I think it's really hard. Mass Effect made it pretty clear when it came to tying into the morality system. And it's a really hard thing to kind of keep morality ambiguous and give people choice like that. I think if you're not saying this is a bad option, this is a good option, or kind of directing people, it's a lot harder to have a meaningful impact. I think beyond what you said with Mass Effect, the only games we see that do it fairly well are the Telltale games where it is more story driven, where every choice is it is a decisive moment kind of every single, because they're always reminding you, people remember that, they heard what you said, people know how you feel. And I think if it's not that clear cut, we haven't gotten to a point where that's done really well. But maybe Uncharted can change that. Maybe, because again, I have anybody that knows me knows I love to speculate about stories and lore, and maybe in some scenarios people aren't friends anymore, people don't survive, people do survive, people based on the conversations and how you interact with different characters. Maybe you could tie that into Uncharted story, and that creates a level of replayability that I think would be really interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
But we gotta wait and see.
Yeah, we have to wait and see just how big it is. It's just something they put in that's more cosmetic than impactful to the gameplay. But I thought it was cool. Game looks fucking great.
Yes.
That game looks goddamn good. And I'm glad this is the last Uncharted because
Please be the last one.
No, because like we were saying earlier, going back to the whole people wanting more things, like, nah, I'm good with them saying this is our farewell to Uncharted. But part of me is kind of sad only because looking at the way that it is and seeing some of the mechanics that they've implemented, I kind of wish that there was like this kind of, I guess, kind of like, I wish this would have happened during the PS4 era, because I feel like now, like when you got to Uncharted 3, they started to get to the point where they got the game where they want it to be.
Yeah.
And like this one is going to be like the biggest representation of their vision for Uncharted, even though Amy Hennig's not there. It's probably not going to be the same story wise, but I think from a like mechanical aspect, this is going to be the game they wanted people to play. And it's just like a shame that this is the only shot they're going to have on there from that perspective. But I'm more than happy to say farewell to Drake. Let him go off into the sunset. Hopefully this game is really, really good, and it'll be a great last memory of the franchise.
I completely agree. Even as somebody that I play again the Uncharted's and have played what I've played of them has been for the story, but even still, I want to see how you finish up this tale, because Nathan Drake has become a figure, and I feel he needs that closure almost. This needs to be a fitting closure to his saga, and I would prefer it to end here, even if they leave the ending ambiguous. So that at least they can leave you wanting more without basically saying we're gonna make a sequel in 5 years.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
You know what? Honestly, if it was a 5-year wait for the next one, if they did in 5 years say we're coming out with another one, I kind of wouldn't be mad at that, because at least they gave us some time to breathe and leave it alone.
I just don't want
Go ahead.
I guess what I'm saying is I just don't want it to be like see ya in the sequel type of an ending. Like,
yeah, no, not like that. Well, and I don't think it will be, because if you look at all the other Uncharted, they all had a beginning and an end. They never left any loose ends to the story. The characters were still there. It's like the characters had their relationship stuff, but they resolved their relationship issues within there. So you can't even say the relationships even left something open. They close each story so they can be individualized, and that's one of the things I think what makes Uncharted one of my favorite franchise, because they know how to build it so that if they need to stop or they want to stop, they can stop, and no one can say, "Hey, you forgot about this." No, it's done.
They know how to make self-contained games that fit into the series as a whole, unlike a lot of games nowadays. Each game adds on to it without,
like the aforementioned God of War. Spoiler alerts for anybody who doesn't know, but Kratos' body wasn't laying on the ground at the end of that game. If you went through the trailers, don't do that. Don't do that.
It's not even that though. Like, okay, real quick, the issue with that game is that is like the most broad of like, we can do a sequel type of an idea, because I guarantee you they don't. That's part of the reason I think it's taking so long. They don't know the exact way they want to.
And it's one of the reasons why Ascension kind of failed to some people, because they had no choice really but to go back to a prequel type of situation, because his whole fucking family's dead. He murdered everybody. Where is he going now? Is he going to murder regular people?
Being 100%. I made a video back when that came out talking about how my speculation was that the majority of the game was going to be this look back, and it was going to, that last third of the game was going to catch us up into whatever's leading into the next game. And I was like, but you need something. It's too big. Oh my God.
Yeah, they kind of botched that. I mean, it was a cool game, but they botched that ending. That ending No.
It's
Once he killed himself, again, spoiler alerts for anybody. But once he killed himself, that should have been it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna go ahead with another God of War, it's funny because I was listening to this podcast and they made a joke like, it was the IGN Beyond podcast. He was like, he was making a joke like, you're gonna do another God of War, make it a female protagonist named Karen, But I would rather you see that because it would make a lot more sense if we got a new character as God of War than Kratos coming back and doing the same shit. Because it's gonna like, oh, I'm back from the dead and I'm gonna kill.
Now, so this is what I'll say to you. After the state of the world at the end of God of War 3, again, I'm gonna try and keep this brief. Like you're saying, imagine you had a new character that has to rebuild the pantheon to kind of put everything back in check, and that person is the new God of War, whoever it might be. Like, but the idea is that Kratos should not be alive. Yes, Kratos is a badass, but no.
Did you see the size of that sword? There's no way anybody should fucking survive that. I don't care how fucking
every major organ is done.
Yeah, exactly. He fucking ripped his whole frame out.
Now,
out of here.
All right. So, anything else? We kind of got on topic with the God of War.
Well, that's it for no Charter today.
So,
moving on.
I'm gonna call Sony out on one in particular thing. You should not troll your fans. You had the president and CEO come out in a crash.
Hold on, no, stop. Because I said that too. Because it's funny. I didn't see the first 30 minutes because I had it was a crazy work day. I got home late, and it's funny because I'm driving home. I'm trying to see if I can set my phone up while I'm driving home. Like, I'm gonna cause an accident, so let me just go home and not do this. But anyway, before you got on, I did finally catch up with the last 30 minutes. And when I saw Sean Layden come out in that Crash Bandicoot shirt, I was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Why? Why?
I love it.
And this is one of the things that it kind of lends to my whole, I felt like my whole kind of I think there was a problem with the show theory that I'll get into later. Because it's like, why are you wearing the shirt?
Yo,
you didn't talk about this shit.
That goes up in
I will say this. Yeah, I will say this. See, I'll say this. Yeah, Phil Spencer did it with the Battletoads thing, and we haven't got a Battletoads game yet. But at least we got a Battletoad in a game. I didn't see you talk about Crash Bandicoot in the game, at least.
I seriously thought he was gonna I seriously thought at some point he was gonna come back out, and then he was gonna mention something, and then it was gonna show a trailer for a new Crash Bandicoot, and he was gonna be wearing a shirt of the new one. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, don't wear that fucking shirt because people gonna want that Crash Bandicoot.
People were so mad. People were just so mad.
Oh man! Oh my god! That's wrong.
What do you mean? It's not like Sony definitely baited and switched everybody. Oh my god! But yeah, I just wanted to make that comment because, you did not give people much of a You started messing with people way too early for them to be happy about some of the stuff that comes. Some of the core people, anyway, the quote unquote core. But then we got to the Final Fantasy VII remake, which, again, another point of contention on the internet. So, for those that don't know, it looks like they have moved Final Fantasy VII. Now I want to clarify. I said this, I believe, before, but it's a remake, not a remaster. Meaning they're changing things. The game is basically being looked at and brought forward into 2016. Meaning,
which, hold on, by the way, I'm gonna tell you guys now, they did a remake of the first Resident Evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
They changed things. If you are hyped for the Resident Evil 2 game, they're changing things, people. Please do not get too upset. Because it's a remake. The word remake means I'm redoing shit.
Think reboot, remake, reimagining. It's the same basic thing, but they're going to be changing certain elements. And the biggest thing that I saw on Twitter was they have basically moved to the Kingdom Hearts Final Fantasy 15 style of combat versus turn-based, where it seems like you're actively running around in an environment attacking people, and you have the scrollable menu. And personally, I think that's really good. It was the natural evolution of the turn-based combat system.
It kind of seems like it's shades of Final Fantasy 15, which I don't mind. Because have you played the Final Fantasy 15 demo?
Oh yeah, I bought Type 0 purely.
Well, I bought Type 0 because I wanted to play Final Fantasy. I'm a Final Fantasy fan. It had nothing to do with 15. I actually like Final Fantasy, but it was nice that you can get that demo. I agree. That being said, it kind of reminds me of that, where it's a more freer world and more engaging. Like, I've been watching people play Xenoblades, and it's like that, which looks damn good. Like, fucking wish I had a goddamn Wii U to play that shit.
The other thing, Final Fantasy VII, the remake, already looks good. It literally looks like whenever you dreamed about a better looking Final Fantasy VII, they're capturing it really well, I think, with the remake.
Yeah, it took me off guard because I'm sitting there and I'm looking at Wedge, and I forget the other guy's name because they're always in a Final Fantasy game. But it's like, yo, he's actually a person now. What happened? You know? And again, shout out to Blade / Luke Cage / Barrett. Like, seriously.
Why you gotta do him
like that? It's a fucking swole ass Blade. God damn it. He's wearing the Blade shirt.
It's amazing. Look, I'm back at it. And heads up to everybody out here who is complaining about that they're changing it. They did also announce, as of today, I believe, you can get the original Final Fantasy VII remaster basically
that is
on
true.
PS4.
I've already looked at the store today because, you know, when they were dropping those and it's available today, I was like, well, let me see how much this is going to cost me.
I'm not getting Final Fantasy VII.
Actually, I'm on my PlayStation now.
I just want to make that point clear. Like, this is the PC remaster, I believe, that came out last year.
Yeah, it's the PC version, which I actually owned, which I could tell you was a good it was a good copy. Although on PC it was kind of janky back in the day. They had to patch the shit out of it. But I'm sure this is it. And it's also on sale for $10.87 until
look. 12. All right, so if you want a game, if you want
regular price for $10.97.
If you want a game that, just a real quick pitch of Final Fantasy VII, if it wasn't already pitched, if you want a game that redefined RPGs, if you want a game that is really interesting and to see kind of the origin of a lot of, like I said before, the modern RPGs, Final Fantasy VII, a game that easily makes the top 3 list of most people, if not the top game. It is an amazing game that deserves every piece of attention that it gets. And for $10, I honestly would tell people to pick it up.
Yeah. Now, see, I'm kind of on the
well, you already own it on PC.
Other side slightly, only because I know it's actually, I know exactly where it is in my house too. But I can grab it and put it in my down there. But the only thing I would say this is that if you were a huge Final Fantasy VII fan, try to take your nostalgia glasses off and realize that this was a game that definitely it was extremely revolutionary
for its time. That piece is important.
If you're going to play it, you have to realize you're playing something that back in, when was this that it came out? 96, 97?
Sounds right. I would be too.
Because it's supposed to be coming out in what, 2017?
I think so.
For the 20th year anniversary. Yeah, so I think it's 97. Think about like when you in 1997. This is something that you've never seen before. Before. Now, that being said, this probably pertains more to if you pick up the version that is actually out now. The remake, like me personally, I can be honest. When they first announced it, I was like, okay, that's cool, or like whatever, you know. I wasn't that hyped, even though I loved Final Fantasy. That being said, the fact that I see that they actually redid this has me very, very curious as
And
to how
they,
it's going to
I don't know if you
play out.
saw. I want to
This
make
is a new game.
if you did not know, Black, they've come out and said that there is a chance that things within the story will be changed.
Oh,
Things,
I highly believe that
content will be
they're going
added.
to, because I'm listening to the dialogue. That dialogue isn't the dialogue I remember.
And
This is like
but that's
this
what
is
gets me
a
excited. Like,
game.
I tell people I don't like remasters a lot of the time, but I can get behind remakes because it's an opportunity to see the same world in a different light, or maybe something slightly different, and that's where it becomes really interesting to me. And look, I Final Fantasy VII. Um, I will. I'll hit Black with a link so that if you want to check out any of the trailers, IGN has a really good article that kind of has everything together.
Yeah, and I'll try to remember to put this in the link in the description when this video is posted.
So you can watch it, and enjoy it. I guess we should. I mean, I wonder how much people really do feel about the turn-based combat. How much that changes, but I don't think with the recent Final Fantasies it's that big of a difference. Um, I don't know. So again, another thing that we have, what we're 2 years out from.
Yeah, it's not coming anytime soon.
So
but I will say this: I do find it like very like smart of Square to capitalize on people's hype and just throw it the PC version.
They
on
even
PS4 right now.
they even included reactions from when the first one dropped.
That
Like,
was so
no,
fucking
it was
dope.
the
And
amount
I
of people.
still maintain some of these people are crazy as fuck. Like the crying. Come on, people. God damn it.
It is.
Now,
ridiculous.
that being said, I'm pretty sure there's a game out there somewhere. That if they were to say we're reissuing this, that I would probably get choked up on from nostalgia. So I can't clown these guys too much, but goddamn, they were crying like shit.
Well,
I understand. I understand. I mean, it is something that it was a part of. Like, I mean, it was a part of a lot of people's childhood. It's just like, I honestly, let me see, what could I think of that would probably get me like that? I don't know, if maybe if someone took Link to the Past and did that shit, I might be like, you might be like taking this. I got to step aside for a second because that might, might be, you know what I mean? Like Link to the Past to me was just such a playing that was just magical for me. So god damn it, don't do it to me, Nintendo, please.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so next thing up was they had a couple Call of Duty announcements. For those who don't know, esports is a growing scene, and Call of Duty console-wise is leading the charge. It is the biggest console esport, which is or competitive console game. And again, it's interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of watching Call of Duty, but basically what they're doing, similar to a lot of other games, is they now have a pro league and a challenge league. Challenge league, to me, if it's like other games, will be where you and the community will be able to play in online tournaments and compete, probably an opportunity to go to the actual World League. And then there's the pro side of things. But this is going to be tied into PlayStation, and they're working together, and more Call of Duty, along with the first map pack, will be 30 days early on PlayStation in early 2016. Why do we still do this in 2016? I don't know, because Call of Duty will pay money to be on stage and tell people this is why you need to play our game, and it works. Activision have the two shooters with the highest population of players on consoles, period. They have Destiny and they have Call of Duty.
which we'll probably talk about later. That's going to cause a lot of you pain and suffering, but I'm sorry. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the thing.
I'm.
Deal with it. But
Any
the
thoughts
Call of
on?
Duty stuff, I honestly, man, because again, it's mad to me as far as the whole exclusivity thing. Because
But
I'm kind of done
but
with the
30
exclusivity
days.
thing. Yeah,
30 days.
I that's a lifetime to a lot of people. A lot of people
It's not
that
like you
hurts
get
a lot of people's
tired of
soul.
the. It's not like you get tired of the 5 or 6 maps after playing on them for like a week.
Well, no, because I mean, why would you get tired of those? You know what? Let me stop because I feel like I really feel
I'm not trying
a
to offend
rant
anybody.
about other game. No, I was just like I feel a rant about another game that I play, and it's not Destiny, but it's another game that I play that people like to throw out that it's not enough bullshit about. That I see people within the 3 month cycle die out on Call of Duty and start to
Yeah,
complaining. And I'm like, well, why does this game get the work? Never mind. You know,
yeah. Let it go. Let it
let's
go.
just let's just not do this because
But
I'm trying to be civil. I'm trying to let you be the angry gamer this time, and
look,
me to be
simply, PlayStation is still touting that we are now the place for Call of Duty. That's what that part of the conversation was. Just fuck you, Xbox, for all of last generation. It's our time now, bitch. Sit down.
yeah, which I could care less about.
It's
It's
purely
just like
politics.
whatever. Yeah, it's like whatever. Okay, Call of Duty, it still has a big pull on the gaming community, which, yay. Okay. What one of the things I found that's very telling about this is that, and this is part of like my argument against what happened in the um conference is that missed opportunities. And I felt like this was a missed opportunity for Sony to actually come out and openly promote that whole thing that got outed before the PlayStation conference at the Paris Game Show, which is you guys are trying to do like your own league play sites, your
Yeah,
own league play
that's
thing.
really good. Like
They did not say anything about, hey, we're
esports is
doing a
only getting
PlayStation
bigger.
League.
Like
Right, but they never mentioned the PlayStation League site that they had that showed up.
I'd look.
Why aren't you talking about that?
That's 2016, Black.
But it's out there. It's a site that's live.
More
What
game
are you
trailers, Black.
fucking doing?
More game trailers, Black.
The fuck? But what conference are you going? Is this something that you're going to do at PAX South? Because that's the closest conference that you have right about now in January. It's PAX South. Everything else pretty much comes in the spring and the summer. Why aren't you hyping? If you want this PlayStation like league shit to be something,
yeah,
talk about the fucking shit. What are you doing?
I don't know. Well, I think I don't even. I hadn't even thought about it. Like I'd forgotten that they had shown that, which is really bad. We'll see. Well, like that's all I can say about it. Well,
Yeah.
funny how their conference is a lot of we'll see. I say that because like a lot of it again, Sony. I was talking to Black, I think, right before we started. Sony mentioned back around E3 time that they didn't have a lot for this year into early next year.
Yeah,
Like,
right before they did their E3 conference, they openly said you're not gonna see a lot of first party shit, and this year,
I think people were
damn me if they're
thinking
not holding hard to that.
people were thinking like they just meant E3. Like, no, like for the rest of this year,
No, they
we're gonna
said
be pretty quiet.
2015. So you should have took them literally, people.
Like, because God. But next up, Gearbox Pitchford came out on stage and talked about Battleborn, a new character exclusive to PS4, and also that there will be an open beta for this game. All I will say is play the open beta and make your own decisions about this game. I think that's all I can say. The character looks interesting. It's a penguin in a mech. He's crazy as shit. Battleborn is a part of that whole hero shooter genre that is growing in the next year. It is far closer to a MOBA, it seems like, than any of the other ones. So I would tell you to check it out. Look into it. Watch the trailer. Play the open beta.
Yeah. My whole thing is that from an eye test thing, I'm kind of over Battleborn, but I'm not dismissing it. The only reason I say I'm over Battleborn is because, again, and this is eye test only. This isn't my final verdict. This isn't me closing up. This isn't me doing what the internet does and seeing something.
No, Black.
And deciding
once you say something
that is actually garbage because I saw it and I didn't like it. This is me being a rational human being, an adult, a person with my own opinion, and being like level-headed. Only reason I say that I'm done is because the eye test Overwatch like wowed me. That being said, I don't know how Overwatch feels. I don't know how Battleborn feels because I honestly couldn't like find a game on the technical test. So it was probably because I was one of the people who didn't have time to get into it early enough to try it. So whatever. But I can't tell you like it's garbage simply because I never played it to know if it's garbage.
But this is very quickly.
But I am more hyped for Overwatch than I am for Battleborn. So
saying that, if it's an open beta, still try it out because it's a genre that most people
definitely will try it out. That's my whole thing. And, I want to if I have an opportunity to get my hand on something, I'm going to take that opportunity because it's just to dismiss it from what I see.
And
at least for me, it's kind of dumb, especially when you got an opportunity to find out because there's been a few games that I've probably dismissed. Like, even though I don't own it, I'll be honest. I thought Black Ops 3 was pretty cool. It was it made a positive impression on me. But if I were to go by how I feel about Call of Duty, I probably would have dismissed it and not have known that if I were that close-minded. But that's not me.
I pretty much mirror Black's sentiment.
And by the way, gaming community, you think I'm taking shots at your attitude? Fuck yeah, I'm taking shots at your attitude because fucking attitude sucks right now. Seriously.
All right, next up was probably the funnest part of the show, which was Ono on stage in boxing gloves. Oh my god. This man is so amazing.
The fail. Who was in charge of charging the PlayStation Move controllers?
No,
somebody find that man.
You're getting ahead of yourself. Not that. Ono with the boxing gloves for Street Fighter was so amazing.
Oh.
You're thinking of the PlayStation Move demo.
Oh, no, okay, yeah, the PlayStation. Yeah, okay, Street Fighter. Sorry, that VR thing triggered me. Sorry. Anyway,
I can go over this really quickly. I don't know how we're into fighting games, but simply put, all fighting game fans out there, we will be getting the last launch character, which is Fang. He seems like a oh my god, I can't think of the technical term for him. But he seems like a pretty good character with a lot of misdirects and cross-ups and a lot of fun to play. A lot of deception.
What was this character again? Because I'm not familiar with him.
He's essentially a dude wearing a big-ass cloak.
Which Street Fighter was he in?
I don't think he was in a Street Fighter, unless I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
Because I've never played damn, what was it called?
I think
World Strike or whatever.
Third Strike?
Third Strike. I've never played Third Strike. So I'm not familiar with a lot of their characters.
But yeah, so there's him. and he looks interesting to play. He looks fucking like he's gonna be annoying as shit to play against. But again, I reserve my judgment until hopefully they bring the Street Fighter beta back out, and we get Street Fighter in February. For those that don't know, they also announced the DLC characters, which those that don't know, they're moving more towards the free-to-play-esque model for character acquisition.
I wouldn't say free-to-play-esque. I think it's more kind of leaning towards the Killer Instinct thing because they mentioned the season pass.
Well, here's the thing: you can, if you play the game enough, you can unlock all the characters without paying.
Okay.
If you are probably like me and not going to give a fuck if it's like $20, as long as it's no ridiculous amount, the first six DLC characters: Alex, Guile, Balrog, Ibuki, Jirli, and Ulin. I'm probably saying the last one wrong because I do not remember. But they have been confirmed. I already can tell you, I'm probably gonna drop money on Ibuki and Jirli. They were my mains from 4. So yeah, I'm really excited. Ibuki's on the scene again. Kunai knives are look. I'm not gonna get into it. Check it out. We have this first 6 DLC characters. They do have a season pass, as Black said, which is fine by me. It's a fighting game, and they're giving people the option that don't want to pay to still unlock them. So to all you people out there that hate DLC, play the game a lot.
Well, when I saw it, my whole thing was, this is probably the smartest thing that you've done because it works very well for what's the name of the game? Killer Instinct, I think. And yeah. I think it's the way they should have probably always done it. I think Killer Instinct introduced the smart way to do it instead of Street Fighter 5, Super Street Fighter 5, Super Street Fighter 5 Arcade, Ultra Street Fighter 5, Ultra Street Fighter 5 Arcade.
Black, you should make like 6 versions of the same game for character balancing.
If you're going to add characters, add them through packs. If you're going to balance, god damn it, that's what patches are for.
Look.
That is what a patch is for.
Now, that's something I agree. A fighting game, you should never sell a balancing patch or balancing of any type. It's a fighting game. Balance your characters and do it for free. But then again, that's why Capcom was damn near being sold last year or a couple years ago. But yeah, so Street Fighter, I try to keep that brief. Gio Corsi then comes on, the director of third-party productions, and this is where we get into the gamers lose their shit because there's nothing first-party for the rest of the fucking show, pretty much. The third-party-a-thon begins here, and this is what, half an hour to 45 minutes into the show? Maybe a little bit longer, maybe the first hour?
Yeah, about an hour. This is where we're about an hour into the show.
And this is honestly where my excitement level went up. So we started seeing a lot of ideas, a lot of different concepts that I hadn't even thought about actually coming to PlayStation, coming to consoles, and that we're getting these games. So first up, you have Dead Star, which looks really interesting, looks really fun. It's a space shooter, space combat game. They look like they have a system where it can also be. It's oh my god, what is it? Asymmetric multiplayer, where there are people that can have like giant capital ships and people with smaller individual fighters, and it looks really good and it looks interesting and it looks like it'll be fun. It's a game mode called Escape Run that they recently showed off. I think it looked pretty fun and interesting. Again, I still make the point to people that always joke about indies. The best game for a while there on the PlayStation 4 at launch was Resogun. Don't count out indie developers. They can make a really fun.
I'll do you one better. Hey, all y'all people who were hyping the shit out of fucking Rocket League, do you not realize this is an indie game? Y'all love Rocket League, don't y'all? Indie games are bad, right?
Exactly.
You love Rocket League. You love the fuck out of Rocket League. Shut the fuck up about no indie game shit, because you love Rocket League.
And so we got that game. What did you think of Dead Star?
Like the stuff they show, like from there and on, I found like there were some interesting things. There was something for me, like I can't talk about one game because nothing totally stood out. But what it did to me was like, okay, Sony's kind of going home. This is kind of the stuff that, and it's funny again. If you take off your rose-colored glasses, people, these are the type of games that made a lot of people love the PlayStation platform.
Exactly.
Sony had always been that company that they can always bring. And I'm probably going to repeat this in my video. But to me, this conference was an example of how Sony has done what I think a lot of us, we say it, but we don't realize it. They're doing what we want Nintendo to do. Have a lot of third party liaisons and bring out a lot of big box games.
They're not Nintendo, Black.
Their stuff. Keep their identity.
They're not Nintendo.
Doesn't matter.
We don't want third party out of Sony and Microsoft. We don't want to see their third party. We care about their first party.
This is the reality of the PlayStation platform. And it even carries over to their first party stuff. Because if you really look at it, and we're going to talk about one of their first party games, that is a key example of the type of first party things that Sony has always been known for and celebrated for. They don't just do the cookie cutter third party titles. They have a wide array of games that crosses a lot of spectrums that will appeal to people who are into the Japanese style gaming. It'll appeal to people who are into the platforming style. They'll appeal to people who are into the shooters. To be quite honest, PlayStation was never a real big shooter platform. SOCOM is their big shooter. Outside of that, like a lot of you people who love PlayStation 2, you need to realize this. SOCOM was the shooter on PlayStation. That otherwise, all the most celebrated games of PlayStation, they weren't shooters. They weren't shooters.
They weren't primarily shooters.
I can't think of. I honestly cannot think of.
The only reason I say that,
if you can name me another like huge PlayStation.
The reason I say it's not primarily, because many people don't know that Ratchet and Clank, I believe Going Commando was Up Your Arsenal. Either the second or third game had online multiplayer for their competitive, I believe, for their shooting mechanics. I know they had couch co-op. I believe they had multiplayer. And it was a big game, but again, Ratchet & Clank's a platformer. It's not a shooter. It's not classified as a shooter. I don't think, because again, shooting wasn't the end-all be-all genre, the primary genre like it is now, where shooting games seem to be, let's make a shooter. All right, what else do we want to add to it? I don't know. But I agree with you. I agree with you completely. I completely agree. And I guess we can touch on the SOCOM topic very quickly. I don't want to spend a lot of time. For those who don't know, there was a movement within the SOCOM community to get SOCOM remastered and to get it to be brought forward onto the PlayStation. And there was a lot of hard work, a lot of ambition by people. They wrote letters. They were on forums. They were everywhere kind of yelling for this. And the day before yesterday, they contacted, was it Yoshida they contacted? And asked him, and he basically said, we're not announcing anything SOCOM. And the famous thing now is he said, but thank you for your ambition. Thank you for your drive, your passion, basically.
All right, let me just go real quick. Just briefly touch on that. Hey, there's no reason to be upset. And this kind of lends to what I'm probably going to close this out on. But part of what this conference is what this conference showed is that there are certain things within the Sony, you know, universe they're just not ready to talk about yet.
Yeah.
Sony has never been, at least from my recollection, they've never been one to necessarily rush out their first party stuff. They've always let their developers take as much time as they want to make things. I think a lot of the stuff that they've announced first party, they've done because it's part of the gaming culture now. It's like you gotta say something because people aren't happy unless you tell them that they're getting what they want now. That being said, I just think that they weren't just ready to announce a SOCOM. I honestly do believe SOCOM is coming. I honestly do think that you probably will get SOCOM 2 on their PlayStation 2 emulation thing. In fact, I just don't think that it's ready. And we don't live in a patient time. That's one of the problems. We're in a very impatient time. So people need to get what they want when they want, how they want it. And Sony has never worked that way. When they've done that, it's end up being bad for them. So my thing with like when it comes to Sony first parties, and I guess I'm gonna be said to be damage controlling, but it's just the reality of Sony is they don't move as quickly on things, and you probably need to exhibit patience because I guess if it were me, my whole thing is, do I want it now or do I want it good? I will take you doing it right over you doing it as fast as possible.
I am a full believer in Blizzard's old statement. Whenever somebody asked them when a Blizzard game was coming out, they said when it's done.
When it's ready. Yeah, exactly. That's why I love Blizzard so much.
That is a statement that needs to be taken way more nowadays because we've gotten into a point where it's every single year you're expected to drop pretty much something within a franchise, within a brand. We need more people saying, we'll drop it when it's done, not when the annual time. Because I would love to see if a Call of Duty basically said, no, we want an extra year to work on it. But they have 3 years now. Like it's weird. Like they've even set it up in a way to where you get Call of Duties, and I would honestly like the Call of Duty scheme or system to be applied to more game franchises.
Yeah, I think what they're doing with Call of Duty now with the 3 studios,
three years
benefits that franchise tremendously.
A studio
got a better one, quote unquote, this year.
You get 2 to 3 years to work on your next game, as opposed to being expected to do it every year to other year. It would improve so many things about games, but I think that would also require people to be a little bit more willing to accept a different type of game. And I like how we're completely just away from the conference at this point, which is fine.
As far as I'm concerned, we're on the actual conversation of this.
I mean, I guess that is the conversation of the conference. And Black was always talking about me being angry, or that I was getting angry, and this is kind of what it is. I feel that this conference shows a lot of good things coming in the future. As I said at the start of this, it shows a lot of the things we need in gaming. A lot of people willing to take chances to do something different, to be willing to say, I don't need to make another shooter. We don't need more shooters in there. We have the Uncharted's, the Call of Duties, the Destinies, the Battlefields. We have all of these already out there. We don't need to be constantly in your face with here's the next one. Here's the next big AAA game that you haven't seen in a year or two. What we need are games that are willing to be different, to try different things. Best example, Shadow of Mordor. The reason why Shadow of Mordor made such a big splash was because of its Nemesis system, something that at its base makes a lot of sense but hadn't been tried before. People that are willing to go beyond just, this is our hook, this is the feel of our game, and that's what we're going to sell you on year after year. We're going to give you the 2016 version of what came out in 2014 or 2012. We're going to just keep doing that. No, we're going to do something actually new and different. And a significant change, and be willing to take a risk. But the anger, I guess, from it is that as much as you hear people maybe say that, this conference, the response from the majority of, and I will say I was on Twitter, the majority of the hashtag was that exact opposite thing. Like, I wonder how many people, had they just announced God of War 4, would have been fine with this conference. Like,
I honestly think had they said SOCOM and God of War, they could have done exactly what they did, but they got SOCOM, they got God of War.
I mean, it's
maybe throw in
even if
I
they
don't
just
know
did a
what else
Crash thing.
they throw in.
Like,
Yeah, throw in maybe Crash Bandicoot for those people who remember it, but not necessarily are wanting it because it's something that they know. Then yeah,
and it is that issue that I think we talk about gaming being so much the same when we as gamers are more often than not the people limiting it. If you have to be willing to say what I want didn't necessarily show up, but what there's something here that could possibly have some potential. I'm willing to give everything a chance.
Well, yeah, and not to foreshadow to closing thoughts, but yeah, briefly, my whole thought of the conference was, yeah, I didn't see a lot of stuff that I necessarily feel like I'm going to get, but I did see a lot of things that were interesting, and I saw a lot of diversity, and I think that's good for gaming because even if I don't want it, it's nice to see that we have choices. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Beyond what we're used to getting. And I'm not knocking anybody who are into those things. Like, I like the fact that there's something for everybody. And that's one of the things that has always attracted me to Sony, because they did what Nintendo did when I was younger, which was they made a ton of different games in a different variety of genres that they gave you a lot of choice. But anyway, let's move on to the next game.
I'm gonna pick this up. I think I'm gonna pick this up a little bit. I'll go through things, and if we have anything to say, we can kind of do that, because I do realize we've been going for a while. We're taking
but we talk forever.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying if you have something to say, we can stop. In 2016, we on the PlayStation 4 will be getting 6 Adult Swim games: Death's Gambit, Duck Game, Rain World, Raise the Dead, Small Radios, Big Televisions, and Double Fine's Head Ladder. Again, these games look interesting. I've seen or played a good number of these. They've been out on PC, but it's good to see them coming to consoles so more people can experience them. Adult Swim actually produces and sponsors some pretty good games, so don't write it off just because it's Adult Swim.
Yeah, I played a demo. I forget what game it was, but it was funny. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah. Adult Swim actually takes gaming seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, do give them a look.
Then they brought out Tim Schafer. Now I'm gonna say this right now, Black. I'm going to have something to say about this. Just he showed a trailer for Day of the Tentacle Remastered, and also announced that Full Throttle would be remastered. I will say I have not played a lot of Tim Schafer's games. I grew up in the 90s. I was very young.
Why did I miss the Full Throttle thing? Sorry.
Because he really quickly at the end just mentioned that he remembers the smell of asphalt, kind of, and he was like, Full Throttle is being remastered. Alongside, because it was also mentioned alongside, Psychonauts is getting a standalone game for the PlayStation VR. And he couldn't forget to mention the fact that Psychonauts 2 was announced and is on fan funding. I'm going to say this right now. If you give him money for anything, you're stupid. Not trying to be rude, but yes, I want Psychonauts 2. Did I finish the first one? No, but I know it was a good game, and people, whenever I talk to somebody about it, they're interested in it. So I have an idea that it would be a good project, but Tim Schafer is not the person you give fan funding to. Do we forget Broken Age, where he, after the first part, had to ask for more? Do we forget that this is the man that will take your money and change the entire scope of a project, run out, and then just say, well, we'll give you the first half of it? Please be smart. Recognize this thing may never come out.
It's funny that you said that, because what I was about to say is, I think they're cool, And I'm sorry, I did get Grim Fandango because I like Grim Fandango. That was
It's fine if you get it. I'm
but
just telling people because no, here right
what
now.
I was gonna say was,
Go.
this is cool. I remember Full Throttle. I remember Day of the Tentacle. This is back when I was PC only. Because I don't know if a lot of people remember me saying this, but I never owned a PS2, so I missed that whole era because I was PC only back then.
Yeah.
And these were the games that were around when I was playing. That Sam and Max. This was back when LucasArts and all of that was, they were just on fucking point. But anyway,
saying that,
I was going to say, these are cool. But where's the rest of fucking Broken Age?
Broken Age 2 came. The rest of Broken Age came out. It was just really quiet. Yeah, but keep in mind, Massive Chalice hasn't come out. If it did, it came out really quietly. It might have. Am I just wrong? It is out apparently. I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, I want them to focus more on this new game. I mean, I like these old games. These were cool old games. But you got games out there, son. Work on that shit. Take care of them.
Oh, it went into early access on November 11th. Excuse me.
Oh yeah, so I'll never play that.
That's exactly what I tell people. And now keep in mind, I understand that people aren't going to listen to me. The game of its $3.3 million goal in the past 3 days is already at 1.675 million. It's on its way in 3 days to get to its goal. 11,000 people disagree that the game is worth the support. I'm not saying the game shouldn't be made. I'm saying look at the person you're giving the money to and look at their track record. I am waiting for the game to come out. I have no problems spending an extra few dollars to get the game. Just be careful. Just because it's on a different site doesn't mean anything's different.
Yeah, I mean, and you know how I feel about fucking
Kickstarter and all those, and Indiegogo.
I mean, I'm not bad on Kickstarter. I think Kickstarter's cool. I'm just not big on free to play shit.
Yeah,
I'm not free to play early access. I can't do early access.
But yeah, that's my small rant on Tim Schafer. Again, great games. I can't take away from the fact that he's made great games. I just no longer trust him giving him any money of any description whatsoever. If it gets made, great. If it doesn't, it's not surprising. Next up, we're finally getting Don't Starve Together on the PS4, only like a year after Don't Starve came out. So you can play Don't Starve with your friends, which I probably will do. It is an incredibly fun game, an interesting game to go through. If you have anything, Black, you can just cut me off.
Hold on. I'm sorry. You were talking about
Don't Starve Together.
Don't Starve. No, it's cool. I like Don't Starve. Don't Starve was a good game. Surprisingly, I didn't think I would care for it, but it actually was pretty cool. If I could convince someone else to play with me, then Don't Starve Together would be cool. I don't know anybody who would want to play that, but Don't Starve was actually a good game. So,
do you like Minecraft, Black?
Honestly,
yes,
it's cool. I don't play it, but I can't say that it's a bad game.
Well,
it's actually cool. Like my short experience with it, it was actually pretty cool.
The reason I want to say that is I'm somebody that is not the biggest fan of Minecraft. I enjoyed it, and I played it for a little while. And again, I agree that it's not necessarily a bad game, but I enjoyed something like Don't Starve a lot more. That's the recommendation. Even if you don't like Minecraft, I would still say give a look at Don't Starve, and especially Don't Starve Together, because you can get, I believe, up to 3 friends with you, and co-op makes everything
really
better.
I thought it was only 2 people.
Nah, Don't Starve Together. 4. It might be, I know that this has couch co-op, but if it's the same as the PC version, you can have up to like 4 people in a game, and if that would be so much fun. Yeah, keep going.
No, I was gonna say, oh, cool, because I need somebody to help me survive because I can't survive. Yeah,
not starving is like the easiest thing to not die from in that game. Then you have a new, I'm going to go out on a limb and say turn-based JRPG called Zodiac or Canon Odyssey. Looks like a JRPG, looks turn-based or semi-turn-based, looks interesting. It should be, again, there's not much to say about it. It just showed a quick gameplay trailer. Again, check out all the trailers. I think Black will have something to say about this next thing. Well, let me get to that. Hold on. Brawlhalla is coming to PS4. Hitman Go is coming to PS4. But the thing I think Black's interested about is apparently Yakuza 5 is coming on PS3 in December 8th. And then we're getting Yakuza 0 on PS4. I didn't really play the Yakuza games. Again, to everybody trying to crucify me, I was born in the 90s and my parents were pretty strict about game ratings while I was growing up.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Yakuza fan, but what I played of Yakuza 3, I believe it was, that was actually fucking cool. It's funny as hell. It's a cool fucking game. Yakuza it's just fun. And I think it belongs here in the States. There's a huge Yakuza following in this area. And I never played it until I got my hands on the demo of 3. And I was like, why are people so into Yakuza? I never had a PlayStation 2, so I couldn't tell you. But it was like, yo, this is actually pretty fucking dope. And I think it's a dope idea for them to bring both of these. Again, this is PlayStation type stuff.
Exactly.
This is the stuff that we had back on the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1. We got a lot of the Japan games imported over here, and we fell in love with a lot of those games growing up. That it's a part of the PlayStation DNA, so how could you hate on this if you're someone who claims to be a fan of the PlayStation platform? It's cool.
Things happen. So yeah, all you Yakuza fans out there, hop on it.
Yeah, my boy. It's funny. I just sent a message to him too because I think he's at work. And when you said that, I was like, yeah, let me remind him. Yakuza 5 is coming to PlayStation 4. He's gonna fucking flip.
All right. So then you have King of Fighters. Last Blade 2, as well as King of Fighters 14. I'm interested. I've never really been into the King of Fighters franchise or a lot of SNK stuff. Nothing against them. It's just not something I was really exposed to, but I will keep a close eye out. And I've heard great things about King of Fighters, so I will probably end up picking it up.
It's funny because I've never been big on King of Fighters. Maybe it's that one fighter game. I don't play fighters like I used to, but back when I used to play fighters heavy, King of Fighters never grabbed me like that. Maybe because it was too many goddamn people. Maybe
King of
that's
Fighters, okay, so can we discuss you on your trailer?
50 people.
Thank you.
Damn it.
You have 50 characters.
But King of Fighters has always been known to have a lot of different people.
Which is a good thing if you're wondering to pick, if you just want a fighting game, because there will probably be somebody that fits your style. It's one of those games that just probably have enough characters to cover every type of fighting style.
And they literally will cover every type of fighting style, because if you didn't pay attention to that trailer, the fucking prisoner with the goddamn huge ass fucking barbell that's hooked to his leg that he's pounding, that's King of Fighters does some creepy shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be all good. Team Ninja is coming out with a new IP called Neo. It looked to me, what is it? I think I tweeted it out before. It was like Dark Souls or the Soul series meets some other game. It looks like a Soul series of game, extremely fast paced, pretty difficult. And anybody that knows Team Ninja, they hate your soul, so they probably will be a difficult game.
Oh yeah, they're gonna fuck you. They're gonna fuck you.
But it looks fun and it looks interesting, and it's a new IP. It's a character action game of sorts. or an action and a soul style of game is really what it looked to. You're moving around, dodging, countering, attacking various enemies. I could be wrong, but we have to wait kind of and see. I would tell you to definitely check the trailer out because it's really hard to explain. But once you see it, I think it catches a lot of people because it is an exciting game trailer. Then we have a new game called Brutal that debuted. Well, Bastion. Okay, I guess I should clarify this. These are games that I'm just gonna say go pick up. Bastion is available for Vita today for $3, and it's cross-play, so you can also play it on PS4, I believe. For $3, you can get Bastion. If you have not played that game, go for $3. You should pick it up.
It's funny because I don't have my Vita anymore, but if it's cross-play, I'll gladly give you $3 so I can get it on the PS4.
It's an amazing
game. Yeah, I played the demo. It's fucking sick. And if you've ever played Transistor, holy shit.
I will tell you, Bastion is just as good. Their first game is just as good as
games are fucking amazing.
Oh, their music, sound design, visual.
Fuck, buy the soundtrack. Buy the game, play it, then buy the fucking soundtrack. I bought the soundtrack to Transistor because that shit is dope as fuck.
Bit Trip is an interesting game. I don't know how many people are really going to like it, but it's definitely an interesting game. Look into Bit Trip before you necessarily buy the HD collection of the 6-game HD collection for $10. But I would tell you to look into it before you buy that because it's not for everybody. And there you have a game they announced called Nuclear Throne. Now, before I mentioned a game from Storm Cloud Games called Brutal, what I like about it is, as a programmer, it's designed kind of like, oh my God, what is it? ASC2? It's like visually designed that way, and then they kind of make it 3D. So it's really interesting. Oh God, it's IGN, I think, sums it up. They say it's Mad World meets Tron. It is fucking amazing. It looks great. I would tell anybody to check it out. Oh, it looks like a lot of fun. But yeah, again, a lot of smaller name games we weren't expecting, games you would have known nothing about, but they look interesting. They look slightly different. They have their unique visual style, and that's something I appreciate. Now, I guess Black will have something to talk about here. Not gonna lie, I kind of was eating during this part of the conference because, yeah. But MLB The Show 2016 is dropping on March 29th.
I don't really have much. I mean, they didn't show much that was like quote unquote impressive. I just know. I mean, I knew it was coming. I mean, yeah, I did like hell yeah when it happened because I knew it was coming. But if you've never played the MLB series, and you're into sports gaming, I highly recommend you play it, even if you don't like baseball, because the MLB series is an example of how you actually simulate a sports game. It is the closest thing that we have. It is the only thing that we have that, like, almost to a 1-to-1 level simulates the sport that it is based on. The game, they do a tremendous job, and they do something that other sports games don't do that they should have been doing for years. And I'm glad that MLB decided to be that first modern era sports franchise to do this. If you've owned the previous version from MLB 14 on and from now on throughout the entirety of this series, if you've owned it and you've played Road to the Show, which is their career mode, your save carries over. I'm currently in my 3rd season. Once I get MLB 16, all I have to do is load my save to the cloud, put in MLB 16. Once I start Road to the Show, they'll ask me, do you want to start a new season? Do you want to load a save file? Or do you want to pull your previous one from the cloud? It'll pull that shit from the cloud and load it on my system, and I can continue my 3rd season. I don't have to restart shit. I don't have to recreate my character. I don't have to redo my attribute points. He's already a level 89 shortstop, switch hitting shortstop from day one when I pick up MLB 16 in his 3rd season, working towards getting his next contract. I don't have to restart shit. I love that about this series.
I knew you would have something to say, even though you said you did. Keep a lookout for it. I might actually pick it up.
Great series. I mean, it feels great. It is a game that feels great.
Next up, they shows a game called Gun Up. It's a free-to-play game on PS4. All I will say is watch the trailer. I'm not particularly interested in it. It looks like you kind of build an army, and then it's two armies going back and forth across the screen looking for dominance. It's a multiplayer free-to-play game. Strategy, so check it out. I'll stick with my StarCraft in my league. Keep working. Next up, we have Fat Princess.
Fat Princess!
It's available today. So, all you Fat Princess fans, go get Fat Princess Adventure.
Only problem I have is that I don't have the $20 to get it. That's my biggest issue. God damn it. So if you want to donate, please, there's links in the description. Feel free.
Look. Every man needs his princess.
Yo, Fat Princess. If you never played Fat Princess on the PS3,
I haven't.
Oh my god!
I just know it's really popular. I've seen a lot of people play it.
Fucking great. It's probably one of the most offensive game franchises ever created. No, because you know what the premise is, right?
What?
All right, so let me try to break this up there. It is funny because I was sitting here watching the conference with my best friend, and he was like, "What the hell is Fat Princess?" And I played it to him, and he looked at me like with a blank stare, like, "Yeah, that's offensive as fuck." So here's the thing: there's these two kingdoms that are at war, and both of them have princesses. So they both hatched the plan that in order to, make the other kingdom submit, basically, you kidnap their princess. But the other team is always working towards getting the princess back from the enemy. Now, one of the things that both princesses have in common is that they have a huge love for cake. And in this realm, there's a magical cake that what it does is that when these princesses eat the cake that they love, they get fatter and fatter with each slice. So what you do is when you have the other princess in possession, what you want to make sure to take care is to continually feed her cake. By the way, during the game, she will scream for cake. She will tell you that she's hungry, or that she or she will yell, "Cake, please," and you feed her the cake to make her fatter. Because the fatter she gets, the harder she is for the other team to carry back to the home base. So you want to make her as fat as possible by feeding this chick as much cake as possible while you're fighting on the battlefield with your units.
America.
So if you get into the castle, they're still going to have a hard time getting her back because she's a fucking house and she's hard to carry.
America, fuck yeah.
Fat Princess, ladies and gentlemen. Game is fucking awesome. It's fun as shit. I swear to God,
watch the trailer. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah,
exactly. And ladies, I'm sorry. I mean, big girls, I love you, but I'm sorry, but this game is fun as fuck.
Next up was probably my highlight. Yes, Final Fantasy VII, blah 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 blah. Look, we're getting a reboot of Ratchet and Clank, and it looked fucking great. And I want April to hurry up and get here, so that I can play it and probably go watch the movie shortly thereafter.
Yeah, the game looks great. Ratchet and Clank, if you never played it, those are some great playing games. They have great mechanics.
I just tell people
comedy.
Those are the games I grew up on. Ratchet and Clanks, the Jak and Daxters, the Kingdom Hearts. Like that time was the biggest time for me playing games because it was when I was old enough to know what I was playing and really recognize it. And we're just incredibly fun and well done. And for those that don't understand, let me make a point really quickly. Back on the PS2, the first 3 Ratchet and Clank games were all 60 FPS. I make this to make a point. Those games feel really good. Even now, if you go back and play them, they feel really fucking good.
Yeah, they do.
Stuff like that matters, and it's a different time, in my opinion, when games were being made. They were just fun, crazy games. Like the CEO even comes out and talks about how it was up against games like Grand Theft Auto. It was up against Gran Turismo, and yet it stood on its own. It stood the test of time and has become an iconic franchise for PlayStation, which is why, in my opinion, like, you don't see a lot of other things competing with it because it is a fairly iconic franchise. PlayStation wants to push it.
Yeah.
Watch the trailer.
It's actually a really good franchise. Yes. I mean, it really is a fun franchise.
There are a few games that are weaker, but none of the games are particularly bad. In my opinion, they're weaker games.
I would say maybe the only one I would not be willing to 100% endorse would be All for One.
Well, All for One it's one of those.
It definitely requires you to have 3 other people.
I agree.
Because if you don't, then you're really not going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, Black, you mentioned it earlier. We have the full body Morpheus demo. I mean, the PlayStation VR. Why the fuck did you not call it Morpheus? PlayStation
they
VR.
Probably should have left it as Morpheus. Yeah.
The PlayStation VR. Somebody forgot to charge the Move controllers.
Fucking charge your batteries, god damn it!
But it did give me a glimpse into what you can start to do with the VR, like actual games like Chivalry or even For Honor that's coming out soon. If you pair that with the VR, that's going to be amazing fun. Because it seemed like they had a decent amount of control and could actually, at least where you're given a weapon in your hand, you have enough control to use it. So yeah, that is good. That's all I'm going to say about that. And this is where also most people tuned out because there was just a big VR.
And again, it's not necessarily because of the VR thing. It was just pace slow, like the whole flub with the controllers and the pace of how they did stuff. It was just like all ugly.
I'll give you that. Res Infinity, a VR game. If you didn't play Res, I believe it was on the Xbox 360. I know for a fact. Res came out. Check it out. It's an interesting looking game. It's kind of like an on-rails game combined with music and psychedelic visuals. It looks interesting, and with VR, it'd probably make you feel like you're tripping shit. Then Ubisoft comes out, and Ubisoft finally does the crossover that we've all been waiting for. We finally get to see what the Eagles are doing in Assassin's Creed via VR, how they're always just flying around, and we always see them in the sky with Eagle flight. Look, I personally love this idea. But keep in mind, I'm a fan of Flower, of Journey, of
Flower's cool. Flow was cool. Journey was fucking great. Fuck out of here with this shit here.
I see it as the type of game where you're not streaming this, you're not playing this for anybody. You're just chilling out on your couch and you want to relax. If you don't have a fear of heights.
No, the only reason I say fuck out of here with this game is that one, I'm not paying for this game. It's better be like something that comes with the VR because it's a tech demo type of thing.
Yeah,
it's not really much to it. So if you want to get me to get VR, this ain't what you're gonna sell me with. It's a good tech demo, but you're not gonna encourage me to buy this. Sorry. If you want to encourage me to buy VR, yeah, Robinson, that shit right there. Yeah, that might do. That's the type
me to say the fuck away from VR because that would terrify the living hell out of me. I agree.
It doesn't look like this has got much to it.
All right, and I'm gonna run through the VR games, just because there's a bunch of them. We'll probably stop on a few of them. Sony once again trolled with Santa Monica making a game. And brings out Modern Zombie Taxi Company.
Yeah.
It's a VR Crazy Taxi where the passengers are zombies and can't sit in their seats.
Yeah.
People were like, Santa Monica.
Yo. Rest in peace to all you fucking God of War.
I loved that. Like, that was the best way.
That was you probably saw that shit and you would like get like all like fucking hype. You would get ready to do a dance. You're fucking about to go off. You had your Twitter fingers ready to fucking like scream out of that shit, and
they hit you with a back-to-back.
Boom. Boom.
I'm sorry. Like it was just, I loved it. I didn't even I didn't even think about the fact they said Santa Monica. I was like, okay, they're doing VR games. Okay. The amount of just hatred on Twitter because of the fact that it was Santa Monica doing this was
I
amazing.
wish I could see like facial reactions to that shit, because I know people were salty as fuck.
Okay.
Mind you, I don't really care for the stuff that they showed. It's like, again, I'm not huge on the VR front anyway, but
and I'm not. We can always save that for another time. But yeah, I'm the opposite of Black in that respect. I do honestly believe the next significant step in video games is going to come in the form of VR, and the people that finally can get VR right. Not saying it's the next year or two, but the next step in gaming wise, is going to be VR. And I think it's going to come probably within the next 5 years. Somebody's going to figure out how to do it right. But we got Golem, which to me looked pretty interesting, and it looked like them finally pairing VR up with something that will work really well. If it works as well as they kind of showed. Then you have, okay, this is one of the what the fuck games I thought about. 100-foot robot golf. It is, what is it? The Godzilla fighting game where your robot's playing golf, destroying a city. That is literally what this game is. It's what? What? And last but not least, the actual surprising VR thing, which was Ace Combat 7, is going to be a VR game.
Which is interesting. Just a note, it's not going to be a total VR game. It is going to have regular, but they're going to have a VR component, which kind of interesting. I don't know if I'm going to want to.
Don't you want to be the person jumping off the tower in VR perspective from above the clouds?
Nah. Like I'm I have acrophobia, so that ain't gonna happen. That ain't.
You sure you don't want to play the
walk, bro? Like
walk?
Honestly, I would never want to play a flight game in VR.
You don't want to be in first person view in the Millennium Falcon.
Yo, definitely not in the Star Wars game, because Star Wars they break the laws of physics. So I'm not trying to flip the like fucking Millennium Falcon and then do a 360 barrel roll with fucking VR. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. That's not gonna be pretty.
But that ended off the VR segment. I think it was really good to have something like Ace Combat 7 shown off. A fairly well-regarded franchise or big name is doing something with VR. That, coupled with what we've seen at other shows, is a really good example, in my opinion, of VR is stepping up. Next year is probably going to be the year of VR. If not, 2017 is definitely the year.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Then, all right, so we're going to talk about this, and I know it's going to take a little bit. Destiny showed up on stage, and the internet let out a collective groan because it's Destiny, and gamers don't like Destiny, apparently. Who would have thunk it? Now, I do have a problem with this, and I'm going to start with the bad thing because there's only one really bad thing. Why did you use this to show off a 3-week event, Bungie?
Well, again, it goes back to my overall premise about this conference is missed opportunities.
The next
expansion could have used, if you're going to show Destiny, show for Destiny fans, like, hey, in February, March, April, you're getting Destiny, the Taken King's wife comes to kill you because you fucked up her husband. Some shit like that.
I'll do you one better. Even if they had shown off Sparrow Racing, which is what they announced, the Sparrow Racing League, and basically said it's coming in now, you're going to get maps every single month. new maps.
Yeah, they could
The
have made
idea,
it much significant.
my thing is, I was really hyped, and then I heard them say for 3 weeks. I'm like, so basically up until the new year. Cool.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
really killed it for me. It was the idea that it's such a timed thing. Like, this is something that people have been doing. I'm happy that Destiny showed up, but it's like Black said, I think it was a missed opportunity. Saying that, there will probably be co-op streams between me and Black and more people of
Me, you, SB, we getting it in.
Sparrow Racing League. I've been
Fuck
doing
yeah.
that every single strike since the game came out, even when there wasn't a race going on.
We getting that in.
Sorry, and apparently,
we don't like
what
Destiny.
Bungie has also talked about is Mars is the easy map. Venus is supposedly mostly downhill, so that'll be fun.
Fuck is Earth or the Moon? Then
it's only 2 maps.
I was only those 2. Boo!
Again,
anyway,
you have all that room to just be like. But I'm not going to get into it. Next up, Runic Games showed off Hob. Looks like an interesting game coming out soon. And then we have a surprise. I did not expect this. I was actually thinking about this game the other day and the fact that I had bought it back on Black Friday in 2013 and never gotten around to playing it. And that was Ni no Kuni 2. I got the original. I have it just sitting in the case, and I'm probably have a reason to play the game now. I just did not expect to see it get a sequel. But yes, Level 5 is bringing us Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom as a PS4 exclusive. So JRPG fans, Pokemon fans, if I remember correctly, it's like Studio Ghibli. So people that know Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away. I don't know if you know any of these movies, Black.
Right now you're talking Greek to me, but hey, I'm with
well, you definitely need to watch. I'll give you a list of movies you need to check out because they're so fucking good. But that style of the art style, but coupled with a Pokemon-esque JRPG games, it's got a lot of high praise, and it's getting a sequel. So obviously, always down to play. And I'm happy to see it.
The only thing I have to say about this is, and it's kind of negative, I guess, is why the fuck the Prince got those ears on? I'm gonna need you I'm gonna need you to, like, cut your hair or something, because when they say Prince, I'm like, is she going through an identity crisis? But it's Japanese.
And I'm gonna do a little bit of self-promotion. I will probably be playing through this game on stream.
By the way, Yoru Strix, go to the channel. It's in the description.
Oh yeah. But I will also be playing through this game on stream, the original, just so we can kind of all experience it together. And then they closed out the conference with Paragon. Now I tweeted out, "MOBAs are love, MOBAs are life." For those that don't know and have never watched me stream, I have a weird affinity for games like League of Legends, Smite, Paladins, any MOBA type game that includes things such as Battleborn. I am enthralled by this genre because I think this genre provides a lot of opportunity in terms of a multiplayer gameplay loop that is different and provides enough variety for everybody. But Epic is making it. I already went ahead and signed up for the beta. It is up if you want to sign up for it. I believe it's Paragon.com. It might just be Paragon Game. I don't know. Just type in Paragon the game and it'll come up. Epic is making a game, and it sounds like it's going to be in the vein of a hero shooter, Overwatches, the Battleborns, because they want to mix what they've done before, i.e. Unreal Tournament, shooters, and the MOBA genre, which is pretty much what these other games are.
Okay. So this is what helped solidify my opinion about how this is like missed opportunities. If you've ever watched Seinfeld, there's a character called George Costanza. He invented the go out on the high note thing, where if you say something that got everybody excited, walk away, because you're not going to leave better. Now, I know a lot of people won't say this, but Nino Kuni probably was, it was a good enough high note probably for them to just walk away.
I disagree because everybody had been having questions about Paragon and the
Well,
idea
no,
that you.
yeah, I understand that, but I think you also have to understand the platform that you're on. And this is not me going into, well, quote unquote hardcore gamers, as people like to call themselves. They don't want to see that. It's just that MOBAs, their impact on a console platform, including the PlayStation, it's not that big. It's like, okay, cool. Epic's giving us a game. These are Epic's a great studio, so people respect that. I don't know if that's how you end a show for your platform. I think either a first party or maybe a third party exclusive would have been a lot better to close out the show, and to leave people with something to talk about. I'm not saying this game is going to be bad. I'm not saying that it's not going to have interest. I'm just saying, like, and again, this is me talking from an aesthetic point of view. This is me not hating on the game. It's just that aesthetically speaking, it wasn't the smartest way for me to close out the show. But I mean, you know, Sony did something different. They did something different. It didn't work for me, but it probably did work for like something like it worked for you. So
I'm always a big fan of it. I was wondering what Paragon was. It looked like this. Um, it's interesting that now I want to clarify. I enjoyed this. It gave me a lot of hope. I'm gonna play most of the games they showed that I don't have to have a PS4 for on PC. Sorry, Paragon is going to be probably played on PC. Uh, I'm not gonna even get into why, but yeah, that's my feelings. But I think overall, um, I am the disagree. I think well, pacing wise, there could have been some fixes. I think you could have moved things around to have it flow a little bit better. Um, Maybe cut out a few. Maybe kind of do a montage for the VR to condense a lot of it down. The big reveals, such as the Ubisofts, the Golems, and the Ace of Combat. I think you could have kind of had those be three big trailers and then just have a big mashup like you usually like to do. Beyond that, I mean, I can't complain. Like, there's a game for everybody here, unless you were looking for God of War, SOCOM, like these very specific games within these genres. There is something for everybody.
yeah, well, and that's why like I said, most of my stuff was the aesthetic stuff. Content wise, again, not everything appealed to me, but not everything is going to appeal to me. Hey, people, that's kind of life. Not everything is made for you.
No,
How the
wrong.
life kind of works.
We are all
Anyway,
individual centers of the
at the end of
universe.
the day, I just thought like their presentation was kind of wonky, flat in a lot of areas. I felt, again, when I say they missed opportunities, I was expecting to see a lot more first party stuff announced for the future. I know they said that there's nothing in 2015. I was expecting them to try to say, oh, like a lot of people were trying to say that what's the name of that David Jaffe game?
Oh, I can't think of it.
Is it Drawn Together, something like that? A lot of people were speculating that he was going to come out stage and like, hey, it's coming out next week. Nah, he even said it. No, it's not. We're not doing that. But I wasn't expecting for them to drop 2015 exclude
Oh, Drawn to Death.
first party games. Yeah, Drawn to Death. I was expecting them to do that, like surprise bomb us with 2015 first party.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of hoping to see some different 2016, 17 first parties announced. And no, I wasn't waiting for God of War 4. I wasn't waiting for Last of Us 2. I was hoping that we would get a surprise like Guerrilla gave us with Horizon. I wanted to see Naughty Dog come out possibly and say, while we're finishing up Nathan Drake's story, we do have this new game. Nope, it's not Last of Us 2. It's a new property that's going to go this direction. Check it out, something like that. Or maybe if it was going to be something old, again, why the fuck are you wearing this goddamn Crash Bandicoot shirt and then not make a Crash Bandicoot announce? Something like that. You know, something like, if it's going to be a reboot or another part of a franchise, make it something that you haven't done a long and for a while type of thing. I was looking for either something older that's getting reboot or a new franchise. And I didn't get that, so I felt like they missed that opportunity to throw that out there just for people. But they did a lot of good fan service. Again, like I said early on, this was a conference that was built around PlayStation's history, their reputation for being this platform that does a lot of different games, some that will appeal to the quote unquote general public, some that just appeals to certain fan bases. But no matter what, it's PlayStation because this is what they do. They've always been that company that put out a wide array of different games that spoke to a lot of different people. It's probably like, well, I mean, a lot of people will say it's to their detriment because when you compare their first party stuff to, say, Xbox or Nintendo's, they're not as familiar because they got so many franchise out there that it's like it's something for everybody. So nothing universally sells overall. Whereas Microsoft and Nintendo kind of tend to have stuff that either caters to a specific party or that have so much cachet from the past that they sell regardless, you know, like Mario type of thing. PlayStation doesn't really have that because they're always, with each generation, they tend to always introduce new first party things, and they don't necessarily stay constant with the older stuff. So they did what PlayStation does. And I guess that pisses a lot of people off, which I guess I understand because we're in a world now where people are very comfortable with the familiar. And again, as I stated before, you say you want something new, but you honestly don't. You just want the same things over and over again with some refinement. You know, so that's my overall feelings on the conference as a whole. So to speak.
This was not the worst conference ever. They had a few technical issues. They had a few issues. I'm not going to pretend like they didn't. But for once, I can say looking at a PlayStation or looking at a game conference, at least in recent years, I've been legitimately surprised by the games they chose to show. Even when I'm surprised by a game, its genre, the type of game it is, doesn't always surprise me. But here, they went and they reminded me even of genres that I have kind of put on the back burner and games that aren't necessarily seen as prominent genres. And what I would argue and ask, and kind of where this all stems from, is core gamers. I don't like the word core, casual, any of that, but all I would tell you is be willing to see something and give it its opportunity. Just because it doesn't appeal to you, just because it's not what you think that you want, be willing to play. Be willing to look at it. Again, for a new IP, for a new studio to gain in prominence, you have to be willing to give whatever idea they have a chance. And if you write it off as X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C, the reason, then you're killing that. The reason as a kid why you found so many things were because conceptually you were open to more. If somebody wanted to give you a game, you basically took it and played it. It wasn't, this game has an art style that looks kind of childish. This doesn't look this. This doesn't look that. This is this. This is that. You took the game, played it, and experienced the wonder of what you were given, and that built into a love. Be willing to let games now as adults do that. That's the only way this is going to keep going or be ready for the time when it's just going to be November is the month of the Call of Duties. November is the month of each yearly franchise, the Assassin's Creeds, and we no longer have people really willing, besides indies, to go out on a limb. Because if you don't support the things that are different, no company in their right mind is going to keep putting themselves out there like that. You're going to keep getting the same old thing, which is what at least you're saying you don't want.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, a lot of the stuff didn't necessarily grab me, but I know it's not for me, so that's cool. But you know, there was a lot of stuff. Hey, Fat Princess, I'm down with it. Fucking Fat Princess, I'm telling y'all, if I could start a fucking Fat Princess league, I would be happy. Love fucking Fat Princess. Yo, I would love to have a Fat Princess squad. I will find a way to find
it is $20. The new one is
if
co-op.
I knew that I could get a Fat Princess team together. That would fucking be awesome. Who wants to roll with me on Fat Princess? But it's like it's that you know, the Yakuza stuff is interesting. The RPG stuff that I saw was interesting. It was cool. Like I said, from a content perspective, it's cool. I just felt like their presentation was just kind of janky. And that's just my take on it. But yeah, it's not like you didn't get any games. At the end of the day, you probably just didn't get the game that you wanted to see, that you felt like they should have shown you because it's the game that you want. So,
and on that note, be more open going into these. Don't assume you're getting anything. Don't assume that a game you specifically know that you want is going to show up. Go into it thinking, if I get something, great, but there may be something different out there. There may be, I'll see what I get necessarily, then I'm going to get X, Y, and Z game because obviously they have to know. They don't.
yeah.
And to the Western market, we are not the center of the world. They do not have to just give us shooter after shooter or action game after action game. They should appeal to the rest of the world where other games have risen to prominence and other types of games. I'm gonna let it go. Because I could I could just keep going.
I mean,
it was fun, Black.
You sure you want to be a little more angrier?
No, I'm even, and that's the ridiculous thing. That is the ridiculous thing. I'm angry right now, but I can't be irrationally angry. All I can do is just
your
ask.
anger is over people being angry, which is the funny thing because people are angry.
Yeah, like I just
I don't know why.
Oh goodness. It was always fun, Black, as usual.
Yes, it was. Thank you for coming through. You sure you want to get angry?
Nah, because this would go like beyond just like conferences. Yeah. This would just start a complete discussion about gaming society and people's opinions and approaches and thoughts and how people felt, I guess, and how people feel gaming is, and what, in my opinion, is actually hurting gaming. And so I don't want to. This is not the place for that.
Yeah, well, maybe next. Anyway, thank you for coming on, Fraud. Yep. I know you wanted to do this, and I was more than glad to do this because it's good to talk to rational person sometimes. Even the angry rational person is better than an irrational person, I say.
Everybody in the comment section, I'm not saying it was flawless because I know that's gonna come out too. God fucking damn it.
Oh yeah, you're being apologetic and you're being damage control. Hold on, what is it? You're apologetic, you're damage controlling, You're a fanboy.
I'm gonna be inevitably exposed.
Yeah, you're exposed as a PlayStation fanboy.
Or maybe
please let me in the comments section know all the stuff that he is that
just a small idea for those of y'all out there that don't know. Maybe, just maybe, I actually love video games more than a singular franchise game. I love the creation, the development, the process, the theory, and playing them. I love maybe that, but again, I'm probably just a fanboy.
Yeah,
so, ignore me.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, bro. You lying. Anyway, we're out of here. Thank you again. Feel free to leave your comments. Let us know what you think. We'll holler at you later. It's your boy Black Vegas and your boy Yoru Strix, and we out of here. Peace.